Welcome to the Ultimate 180, the podcast for hardworking people like you who are ready to break free from exhaustion and create a life that actually feels good. Let's ditch the fear, relieve the stress, and start changing your life one simple degree at a time. Hey, it's Christina Walker, and welcome back to the Ultimate 180, where we flip what you think you know upside down, so you can finally create a life you actually want to live. In today's episode, we are talking about a critical mistake most of us make when we start thinking about the life we want. We focus on how to pay for it before we even know what it actually is. But here's the truth. If you are starting every conversation about your dreams with, but how will I get the money? You're already putting limits on what's possible for you. So today we're going to flip that script and we are going to focus on clarity first, because the path to your dream life doesn't start with money. It starts with vision. So before we dive in, just a real quick favor, if this episode sparks something inside you, whether it's hope, clarity, or just a little nudge to think differently, tap that follow button. It helps you stay plugged in, and it also helps someone else who needs to find this message too. And if it's something that really hits home for you, don't keep it to yourself. Screenshot this episode, share it on social, tag me with your biggest takeaway. I absolutely love seeing what lands, and it honestly inspires me to do more. If you want to go deeper, grab my free Stop Working So Hard workbook and join my VIP community. We are doing life-changing work together because you don't have to do this alone. All the links are below in the show notes. So let's get started as we navigate change together, one degree at a time. Let's do this. If you've ever caught yourself daydreaming about what you really want, only to slam the brakes by thinking, how can I afford that? You're not alone. We are conditioned to think about money first and clarity second. But what if we had everything backwards? Today, we're going to talk about how to get clear on what you want without letting the idea of money get in the way, and why that's the key to actually creating the life you want. Amazing, right? We are taught everything backwards. I know, it's crazy. And it's not always the easiest, but I'm going to hope to share with you something that is going to be groundbreaking today for you, because money honestly limits our vision. Now, if anybody knows who I am and what I've done in my past, I spent a lot of my working years in finance, helping people make money. Funny, right? And when it came to myself, things just weren't lining up the way I wanted them to. And that's where a lot of this information comes from, my own journey and getting here and realizing that my want and journey for making a lot of money is what was stopping me from making the life of my dreams. And once I flipped that, my life completely changed. And that's what I'm here to hopefully share with you today in a way that you can understand and use it for yourself. So, why does money limit our vision? It's because when we start with the actual money, we're already shrinking our vision to what we think we can afford. So when we say, oh, life would be great if I just had, I don't know, $100 million, whatever it is for you, right? Well, what if like the life you're supposed to lead, this fabulous life that you can hardly even dream of because it's so amazing that you just won't even let yourself dream that big? What if it's a lot more than that? Well, you've cut yourself off before you started, because what if you said, oh gosh, if I just won $1 million, I'd be so happy. Well, sometimes you'll get that $1 million and you're not going to be happy because it's bigger than money. And your goals, if you think that that $1 million is going to bring you all the things that you wanted, it's probably not. So let's not start with money, and let's start with what we really want. And it's kind of like when you build a house. If you're building a house with a blueprint that's only half drawn, that's what happens when we start with money, right? We're not really, that's only half the picture. It's not even half the picture. It's part of the picture. It's what funds your dream. But we haven't even gotten clear yet of what that dream is because we keep getting stopped by this money. And money is exciting. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying not to want money. That's not the point. So we want to figure out, what do you actually want? What if money wasn't even a factor? What is it that you actually want? Because this kind of thinking is what opens your mind to the possibilities that are outside your current reality. And once you can turn that radar on, in my last episode, if you didn't listen to it, go listen to it, because it leads into this, is when you turn that radar on, that feeling place inside you, and you can feel with clarity the feeling of all the things that you want, of already having them, that is where the magic happens. But we have to get outside of money to make that happen, because it's not the money itself that gives us the feeling. I mean, maybe some people like to sit there with money and smell it and feel it, and maybe that brings them joy, but it's usually what we're buying with the money. It's an experience of some sort that gives us a feeling. And that is what we need clarity on. And I'm telling you that this is not always easy. Well, it's not always easy, obviously, because we'd all be doing it already. But mostly we're not doing it because nobody taught us how to do that. We don't get taught how to do this in school, right? I didn't take Finance 101 and they said, start in a feeling place. Nobody said that. Nobody said that. So, what we have to understand is that when you're going to go through this process and you're going to start learning how to do this, you're probably going to realize that you're going to have to keep stopping yourself, because money's going to keep getting in the way, and it really will. And I'm telling you from experience, somebody who has lived around money, right? This is what I do for a living, and I see it every day. We get stopped by the concept of money before we ever begin. And it's okay that you keep stopping and realizing, oh, I got hung up with the money again. Because sometimes when we start to get clarity about our dreams, we'll start going down that road, and then our brain actually gets a little scared because we've never had that kind of money. So then all these thoughts of things that we've heard, oh, well, then I would need an attorney and a trust and and we get fear. And once that fear starts to set in, the money stops. You put the brakes on. Well, then I don't want that much money, right? But that's not what we're trying to get at right now. We're not trying to create the how. We're not trying to create the path right now. We're trying to gain clarity. And that's why we don't have clarity, is because it's not easy to get to. I'm telling you, if you start business, I see these business courses online all the time on how to create the best business, the quickest, the easiest, the fastest, how to gain a following online, how to do all this stuff. They're great. A lot of them are great. But the fallacy here is a lot of them do start in the right direction. They start with, we've got to gain clarity of what you want to do. And they don't think people realize how difficult it is for us humans living in a world where the way we get our things in this world is with money. That is what we've decided. We use money to get what we want, and how much that has contracted our thinking and kept us from being clear of what we want. It gets in the way. And so all of these things are great, and all of these, blueprints and all these things that you might purchase, they might be great, but a lot of people, they don't get all the way through these programs because they never get past clarity. They think they do, but they never truly get past clarity. So I'm hoping we get to that point today where you can start practicing, because we are so conditioned that this is going to take practice. So be gentle with yourself. It's okay to practice at this until we get further along. And someday you're going to look back a year from now and you're going to look at all the things that you created in your life. And even though you might still be having those limits in your clarity, you're going to keep catching yourself and allowing it to get bigger and allowing it to get bigger. So be kind, because it is difficult, even for me. And I know better, but I catch myself all the time. And I'm thinking, oh, where did that come from? And it's old habits. It's It's generational habits. It's things you've heard your parents, your grandparents say. It's the people that you're around that you've heard these things and they get ingrained and you don't even know it. So we're going to try and clear some of that and gain some clarity. So if we can try and remember clarity first, money second. Clarity first, money second. Because the power of defining a life built on clarity is so different than you've ever experienced when you try and define it with money. And it's probably the most underrated tool that we have in creating the life that we want. And it's, as I said, it's more difficult for most of us than we would even think. And the clearer we are on what we truly want, the easier it becomes for us to spot opportunities and align our actions to be able to take action on those opportunities and attract the resources, money, to make that happen. Because our radar now will be clear of what we really want, and we will start to pick up, our little radar, our little navigation system starts to perk up and it says, well, now I know what we really want. It's not necessarily about money. It's about this. And then that way we can start attracting those resources and opportunities that will get us the money to get there. But the money does not come first. Hear me. The money does not come first. It will come if you're clear and you take aligned action on those opportunities when you listen and don't stop yourself with leading with money. So here's a great exercise. Start by writing out, and writing is just key to this. It's action, guys. It's action. Start writing a piece of paper and a pen, pencil, whatever you want. Typing doesn't really, it's action, but it's not nearly. There's something about the physical body taking action that really ignites this. Start by taking a day in the life of your ideal day. From the moment you wake up till the time you go to bed, and write it out. However you want to write it. If you want to write it in calendar format, great. If you want to write, it in narrative, I wake up not to an alarm. I smell the coffee because somebody else is making it for me. Whatever it is, I hear the sounds of the waves crashing against the shore, or I hear the, woodpecker on our pine tree, whatever it is. But you've got to go through the moments of the day. What does an ideal day feel like to you, regardless of the money? So let's say you don't live by the beach, but you want to, and you want to live in whatever it is, be there in it. Be there in it when you write it out. It's just go for it. Doesn't matter how you're going to get the money to live like that. Doesn't matter even if you know where on earth that is, but describe it. How does it feel? What's the temperature like, right? What's the community around you like? Do you hear people? Do you not hear people? Are you close enough to an airport? Do you have an unobstructed view of something? What exactly is it? Do you love the hustle and bustle of the city and you feel that vibe and you walk down to your favorite coffee shop, or, and you get your baguette, and who knows, right? What is that? And you don't have to make it perfect as in, well, I don't want every day to be like that. Okay, that's where people get stuck too. Okay, then just say one day. What's one day of your life that could be possible? You don't have to worry about all the days yet, right? It doesn't mean you're going to live somewhere else forever, or maybe you just want to be able to live in different places. That's fine. But just take one of those days and just say, there's going to be this one day and this is how it goes, and feel it. Just feel that. Write it out. No limits, no financial considerations whatsoever. Just pure clarity. And when your brain stops you, I want you to pretend, no, the money's taken care of. Pretend the money is taken care of. What does life feel like? And then take it a step further. You've got your day, okay, that you can always go back to. Who are you living that life, right? And I don't mean what's your job. And this is the hardest part. I'm going to do a podcast on that, separating your work from who you are. I'm a person, I'm an entertainer. I'm a person who the community just loves because I get them and I help them and I know how to help them and I love helping them. What are you? Like who are you when you step into the group? And when you step into a group of people, who are you? Right? Are you the person that people come to because they feel comfortable telling you things? Do you make people laugh? Do you entertain them? Are you just a great listener? Or do you just have compelling stories to give? Who are you? And start constructing that with clarity. Who is that person? If you didn't have any of these financial constraints, who is that person that you really want to be? And then now, how do you stay focused on that? Right? Because that's the key, is we've got to stay focused on this vision, on this feeling place of the vision that we have, with clarity about who we are and what we really want on that perfect day, right? That life that's sitting there waiting for us. So once you get clear, just even on that one day, and keep working on who you are, it's easy to really fall back on the trap of, but how will I get the money to do all that? It's probably going to happen as soon as you write it. And that's okay. Because I want you to try and stay in the feeling and just tell yourself, we're not talking about money. Thank you, brain. Always thank you, brain. Thank you, brain. We're not talking about money right now. I'm going to go back into that feeling of having, right? And sit there as long as you possibly can. And I want you to focus on what it feels like to wake up in that life, to move through that day, just to move through it. How does that feel to move through that day? And have a sense of ease and abundance in that day where you're not worried about anything. You're not worried about the money. You're not worried about how you got there because you're already there, right? If you're already there, you're not worried about how you got the money to get there. That's the kind of ease that you need to sit in as often as you can, is to sit in that space. And whether you like to meditate or you just want to call it, I want to sit in my happy place. The more often you do that, that's that radar that goes up and it brings it to you quicker. And that's how things start to change. And that's when opportunities and resources come to you because you will start picking up on them, right? I'm not saying to sit back on a couch and just woo-woo all day and magically crap's going to happen. That is not what I'm saying at all. I hope you get my point. But when you sit in this feeling space and then you act from that feeling space, everything's going to change. You will pick up on things you've never picked up on. You will become that person. And the only thing that the world can do is to align itself with you at that point. Because right now, you are aligning yourself with the life that you have. So if you're not comfortable in that or you want something better, this is the only out, to align yourself with the feeling of being there instead. And you'll take aligned action. And what aligned action means is any action that feels like that person that's sitting there in that perfect day, what would they do in this particular situation right now? What would they do? And then take that action instead of the action that you're currently maybe stuck in. Because the more you stay in that and the more opportunities come to you, because they will, they're going to show up in ways that you couldn't have planned yourself. They're going to feel like, what? That's crazy. How did that happen? And the more you take action in that alignment, the quicker you're going to be able to live that for real. So bottom line here, if you're letting money dictate your dreams, you're letting scarcity lead the way. And scarcity never creates abundance. So the next time you sit down to think about what you really want, forget about the money. Get clear first, get specific and detailed, Because when you are crystal clear about what you want, the resources, connections, and yes, the money will follow. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this episode hit home, tap that follow button and tag me with your biggest takeaway. And if you want to dive deeper, let's discover what's ultimately possible for you. Grab my free guide, join the VIP group, and at the links below or at ultimate180.com. You'll find all my episodes there or on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your shows.